YouTube is
or,
not moving.
or I'm not seeing it.
Awesome.
It says it's just waiting for God and guns. But anyway,
It says we're
what are
live on my side. I don't see.
I am not seeing it.
I see it's moving around over there.
Is it?
I
Oh, now it started.
I opened the window up and it showed me moving around and talking. So I don't know.
What
I
what
don't
you
know, Doug. I don't know
what
what
you
I did.
change?
I just clicked on the window and looked, and we were talking. So I don't know. You're down in that hole in Georgia, so
Okay, I got
yes, John is working always.
yeah. It's working now. It uh, when you clicked on it, I guess that did it.
Rumble is supposed to be working, but I don't see Rumble working. If anybody's on Rumble, let us know. I don't know why Rumble is not working. It says it's live streaming. Hmm.
So let's see.
It says recording in progress.
Recording in progress. Hey, on the God side, I've been doing Sportsman's Daily Devotional. I like that because it comes up on my phone. I can read it anywhere I am at all the time. So it works like a champ. EDC carrying every day, and I picked up my new little pocket gun, which you got to see it the other day, and I almost got to go to the range
Almost.
Wednesday. I was going to take off from work at lunch and go up to an indoor shooting range just so I could shoot it. Um, but other things happened and I did not get out of there. But I wound up picking up
I'm
the
so triggered.
Sig P365. Don't feel bad. It won't go off. Fingers not on the trigger. But I got the P365 and I got the standard with just the regular 10 round mags in it. Funny story. I had posted when I got it because I wasn't paying attention. I ran at my lunch break down to my store local here, and he cut me a sweet deal on it. Thank you very much.
Good deal.
And yeah, so I went and picked it up. Well, there was a young boy there that just started, didn't know him, and he was helping me because they were kind of busy. I walked in. I'm like, I need a P365 standard with no safety, no thumb safety. He's like, okay. He goes, you want the standard, the X, or the XL? Standard, dude,
It's just like
standard.
drive through, man.
Yeah. I was like, just a standard." He goes, "All right." He said, "You want the RMR cut on it?" I'm like, "No." I said, "Just want the standard one, man." He goes, "All right." He said, "I got one." And he handed me one. I'm like, "Nope, that's got a safety on it." You don't want the safety? No, I want a standard, no safety, just the regular one.
They don't listen, man. The younger
He,
people, they don't listen.
he,
They gotta
I
follow the
think,
form or something. It's like line by line by line.
Doug, I think you'll really like this one better. So, so I tell him, I said, yep. He pulls it up. He's like, yep, that's. I'm like, that's the one. He's like, okay, let me go see if I got one in the back. I'm like, okay. He comes out and he sets it up on the counter. I checked it. I'm like, yep, fine. So it's got two mags with it. One's a flush mount mag, and the other one's got a little pinky extension on it. He said it comes with two mags. He said one 10 round and one 12 round. I was like, okay, cool. Didn't even think about it. I took it to the house. I bought some critical duty ammo
Hmm.
for it, and off I went. I got home that night, and I'm trying to load these mags with just hand. And in the 10 round flush mount, I got 8 rounds in it, and I could not put another round in it. So I was kind of
That's when you
complaining
get
a
the
little bit.
hammer out.
Well, I
You
thought
get the
about it.
hammer and a chisel.
So I got the 12 round mag out. I started loading it, and I got 9 in it, and that's all I could get in it. So I posted something like, anybody have any problem loading these mags? And my buddy Blake down in Florida, down at the guns shop down there, he sends me a picture. He said, you need to get one of these mag loaders. I'm like, duh, I got one. So I come in here in the man room, started looking for it. I finally found it. I took it in there. I took the 10 round mag and I pushed it down in there, and I got two more rounds in it. No problem. I'm like, okay, set it off the side. I get the 12 round mag. I started feeding it. I got 10 rounds in it and it wouldn't go no further. I'm like, what is the deal with this thing? I got to looking at it. It came with two 10 round mags and not a 12 and a 10. So check your stuff, just like the drive through before you leave the drive through.
Still don't do you any good
No.
because you don't want to complain at a drive-through because then they'll give you a special sauce one.
Hmm. With
I don't want no
oysters.
special sauce ones. I don't really want drive-through anyway, but the kid's like, take it back, get the right thing. Like, no way.
Nah.
I see these guys sitting behind the restaurant, smoking and spitting and cussing up a storm and talking about how much they hate their customers. There's no way I'm going to complain about something and ask them to make me another one.
Nope.
I take it like it is, or I'll
Nope.
lose the money.
We're good with it.
It'd be
But
all
I
right.
kind of like this little joker though. It's got night sights right out of the box, and so we shall see. Hopefully, I get to. I can't just walk out in the backyard next to the pond anymore and shoot it. So I thought about it, just walking out here and popping a couple rounds off in the ground, but I was like, nah. I already got one neighbor that don't like me much.
You keep your neighbors friendly.
Yeah, you keep them real friendly.
They'll start passing a petition around.
Yeah, they will. We got covenants. I'm not part of them. Sorry. Let's see what else. Hey, I went to the movie theater last night for the first time in, dude, I can't tell you how long it's been since I've been, but Top Gun Maverick came out. I've always been a Top Gun fan, and I wanted to
That's
see
what
it.
got you signed up in the Air Force, man.
It it probably was, and it was good. It was a good movie. So I went and saw that. My buddy Rick was down this past weekend, and we were messing around doing some stuff. He helped me put a new drive belt on my zero turn mower, and thanks Rick for that. I appreciate it because I would have never had patience to do that. Um,
Hey, Rick, man, I'm pretty close to Tennessee. Yeah, I
you
could
need
use
some
some
stuff
love.
fixed? There you go. He can
I
hook you
got
up.
I got a couple of hydraulic couplers I need replaced on my bush hog. I've got a belt on the uh, on the hay mower. What's it called? It's called a disc mower. I got two of my three belts, but one of the belts broke. I got to replace that. I got need a hydraulic oil change in the old John Deere, and I need to load up about 15 pieces of old farm equipment that somebody else needs better than I do, so I can trade it for something better.
Well,
So yeah. You're not that far away. Come on up.
yeah. So Rick comes down to help me do stuff, and we go hunting. So it's like a dual edged sword. So we went out and sit until, oh man, right at 4 o'clock in the morning, waiting on these hogs, and they decided they didn't want to show that night. So we didn't get one. It was all good.
Well,
But
you know,
hey,
hogs.
check this out. So my daughter my daughter Taylor just got a new job. I don't know, a couple months ago, I guess. Uh, she works for, uh, well, I ain't gonna say who she works for, but she works at the airport in Macon at a private part. And so they were doing a little air show this past weekend with World War II um, fighters. They had a P-51 Mustang. They had a Navy dive bomber, and then they had a B-17 that was there. It was the Texas Raiders. Um, that thing was cool, man. It had 50 cows all over it.
What
So
was it again?
a B-17,
Oh, okay. That's
and
not the Fighting Fortress, is it?
no,
That's a beef.
uh,
Not beef. B fort. What is it? B.
the Flying Fortress.
That's
That's
a
a
big one.
uh, B-29.
B-17 is a regular bomber fighter. Hey,
It,
bomber
it was a
with
bomber,
yeah. I don't know.
but
If
it
I
was
had
pretty.
Google, I could look that up.
Let's see. they anyway they had that one there. Uh, It's a Flying Fortress B-17. That's it.
It's a flight fortress. Okay.
Yep, yep. I was thinking B-29, but it's the 17. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I
it
had
had
one of those as a kid. I had a model one. Yeah, till my brother threw it off the porch. There's lots of little pieces of plastic.
but she called me up. Me and Rick were right in the middle of changing that drive belt and on the mower, and she's like, "Dad," she said, "they offered me a ride on that B-17." I was like, "Serious?" And she's like, "Yeah." I said, "Do it." She goes, "Well, the girl that works with me, they told her she could go too, but she's not really enthused about it. She said you could have her seat." What? And I was like, "There's no way I can get up there." They were leaving in like 20 minutes. I'm like, "There's no
Oh,
way I can get there." I said, "You go. Tell her she needs to go. That's a part of history that she needs to go check it out." And
yeah.
so they went up. The first picture my daughter sends me is her on the door gun on a 50 cal standing
There
there,
you go.
and she just thought that was just the coolest thing, which I thought it was the coolest thing too. So she had a lot of fun doing it. But other than that, um, I ain't been doing much, man. What you been up to? Well, I know what you've been up to.
I've been back and forth through the state a couple times the last couple weeks.
Hey, my John said the B-29 is the super fortress.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Arr, 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 arr. That's one's got
Hey,
the belly gun and the tail gun and the side gunners and the top gunner and the
the
nose
17
gunner.
ha- the 17 has all that.
It has a belly. You don't have a belly gunner, does it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's
Oh
got
wow.
the turret that rotates on the bottom.
The
Hey,
Super
after she
Fortress is a whole lot, but it's at what's
is
four
bigger.
engines in it? It's like 4 engines instead of two.
The seventeen's four engines. I think it's four engines.
Okay,
But anyway, she had a good time with that thing, and I was
we're
going to
not
tell you
old
something.
enough to know all this stuff, Doug, or we're too old. We forgot one or the other.
Oh, when she they came over, her and Dylan and Riley came over later that evening, and me and Rick were watching Memphis Belle.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So what did I do? I've been last 2 weeks. I went to church at Christ Fellowship down in West Palm Beach, Florida. I guess it's called North Palm, that side of town. But we really liked that church when we were down there. So the condo my parents had in Florida was rented out, and there was some problems during the rental, and it had some leaks, and it had some drywall had to be ripped out to get to pipes and stuff. And so we went down to see what kind of damages there were. And we had to primer and paint, and we found the carpet needed to be replaced. And so my wife and daughters went down about a week before I went down because I had legal pressing matters up here, trying to take care of things for the state, for mom's estate and dad's estate and stuff like that. So I wasn't able to go down with them, and so I drove down, brought down furniture, replaced some broken furniture, and brought down some things to put some beds in. The beds that were down there were pretty bad shape, so we replaced some beds. So travel down there. You guys were still out of town when I passed through on the way down, and
Yep.
then I had a lot of work down there. I've got this thing going on with my foot that I'd injured it back in December, walking too much, and had put a sore on it, and it would heal up, then would come back and heal up and come back, heal up and come back. And so after the fourth month of that, I said, I need to get this checked out. Went to the doctor, and he said, "Oh, you got a little ulcer there," and put me in a boot. Some of you guys have seen our social media platforms, me in the boot, the Captain, whoever it is, Captain Morgan boot. But had to wear that, so I didn't get to go to the ocean or the beach or the didn't get to go to the pool. So pretty much I was just stuck inside the condo. Can't walk a lot, so supposed to keep weight off of it. But I went back to the doctor today, and he said it looks great. And he told me one more week in the boot, and you should be all right. He said it's healed up really good, and probably won't have any more problems with it. And So I'm happy to get this thing off because my left leg now, that boot's so heavy, my left leg is almost twice the size of my right. No, I'm, it's, it's swinging around like a big ball and chain every time you walk around. You guys have had these stupid boots on. A lot of people have. So you know what I'm talking about. On the so that was sort of a mix of guide, vacation slash work slash driving around a lot. Uh, on the gun side, I've been carrying the XR20 EDC. I'll go ahead and say it. Uh,
Oh yeah.
I, I really, 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 really,
Hey,
really like this gun a lot, and it is. I thought I was going to have trouble carrying it concealed because it's a Glock 17 grip. It's a Glock 19 slide, so it sits nice down in the waistline. But the grip stuck way out, and so I took my crossbreed holster, and it's got adjustments on both sides of the Super Tuck, and so I dropped that back in where the magazine is down flush with my belt line. It disappeared, and it's perfect. So I just used a Glock 19 the holster that they had provided me before. They're supposed to be sending me a new one. Nathan said he's going to get me one once they get the new uh, Shadow Systems XR20 XR920 blue gun in, so they can mold it around it, make it perfect. And as soon as they got that in, he's going to send me out one in a belt, I think. So talk to him about that. Ham side, other than using APRS all the way down there, and while I was down in Florida, tried to check in a couple of nets. My goal when I went down there was to study for my ham test, and I was supposed to go to Dayton Ham Convention or Hamvention. I had tickets, had hotel rooms, everything, but I got such a late uh, start down to Florida that by the time I got down there and got everything unloaded and had sat down, it was time to get up and go to Ohio, and I'm like, I'm just not doing it. I'm not going to turn around and go from Kentucky to Florida, Ohio, back to Kentucky, and I was I was wore out. So I stayed going to Hamvention. I stayed in Florida with the family. Flew them all out except for Gunner. Gunner came back with me and helped me drive back. And we stopped and visited with you and Wendy and
yeah.
enjoyed the y'all's hospitality and fine meal that you provided. And we went and went to Bucky's. The Bucky's, yeah.
Yep. Bucky's.
Everybody that I know that has been through Georgia in the last 2 years, you gotta go to Bucky's. Your daughter last time I was down there was like, "Yeah, you haven't been to Bucky's? You gotta go to Bucky's." Like, okay, I'll go to Bucky's. So we went to Bucky's and we bought a bunch of Bucky brand stuff. I don't know, and it was fun. The gas was like 20 cents a gallon cheaper there for diesel. So I enjoyed that as much as you can enjoy. Still $5 a gallon diesel, but the we stopped at Bucky's. I got my neighbor who took care of our dogs while we were gone. Got him some Bucky's stuff. I need to get to him. I see him twice on the road yet, and I have not went to his house yet. Just been running around crazy.
They got just a little bit of everything in there, don't they?
Yeah, it's a nice respite from the road and clean bathrooms. That's the most
Yes.
amazing thing. That is the cleanest bathroom. It's cleaner than most fine dining establishments I've been to. I mean, they must have somebody that stays in the bathroom going around cleaning them because it was just spotless and well laid out, room for everybody. There must be 30 stalls in there, and it was amazing. It was like think of a truck stop but clean
They
with
have
with a lot of food.
that, and they have a hundred and some gas pumps.
Oh yeah, and they're all full. And then
Oh,
people like pulling in. Just I mean, I couldn't believe how many people were in that place. The one we stopped at the one there at early in the morning when you
yeah,
went to work. Was it 7 o'clock or
yeah.
when you left at like 7 o'clock? We were there. It was like maybe it's 20% full at 7 in the morning. We stopped closer to Dalton. I don't remember which town it was, and topped off our tanks again. And Gunner wanted to go back in again. But that one, it was right on I-75 again. But it was like 90%. All the pumps was full of people coming and going. It was like, smooth oiled machine. Just people flowing in and out, and lots of cashiers moving people through. It was a
Hmm.
pretty cool place. But we're not getting promoted by Bucky, so we're going to roll on. So the farm, I came back and everything is greener and the plants are all popped up and my garden plot is not broke. So I saw you had a nice garden going. I gotta go. It reminds me, I need to go out there and pluck the blooms off my blueberries before they start producing. I wanted to put down a little bit more root system before I try harvesting more blue. Well, no, this is their fourth year. They might be all right. I have to look and see how the things that pop in your head. All right, so I then told you my EDC, and oh, I was talking about hams. I did pick up a couple of antennas. I love these signal stick antennas. I got a blue one for my Icon 52 HT. You guys can't see that white screen very good, can you? No,
Nope. It's
sort
got
of
a God and Ghost
fades up.
logo on it.
Yeah, it does now. And then my FT5, I think I bricked it. Uh, It's in manual mode right now. I'm going to send it back to Yaesu. Something's wrong with the SD card, and I think I pushed it in too far. I think I've tore up something there
Oh,
because it. Had it with me in Florida and put the SD card in the computer and put all the repeaters and local repeaters into it. Popped it back in to upload it, and it started malfunctioning. And I think I pushed it in too hard. So they're a little finicky on those SD cards. But that I was going to do QRP. I took my little 818 Yaesu. Never got out of the box. Never got strung up. Never did anything. I was so tired when I got down there from everything I've been doing up here. And we unloaded furniture and took old furniture out and tore out stuff and threw away stuff and hauled off stuff, and bought stuff, and I just was wore out. By the time we get done every day, I didn't feel like messing with radios or anything. So, about the time we left, I started relaxing. The,
right.
I put the girls on the plane, and they flew back home, and I came back to the condo and sat down on the porch and enjoyed the ocean breeze and just started relaxing. Then we started packing up the trailer to leave out the next morning. I got about, I say I got probably about 6 hours of just downtime, and then loaded
Rest.
up and drove back. And ever since I've been back here, I've been running wide open. Phone's just rung off the hook. But enough whining, crying, and belly aching and moaning. EDC, go ahead and do your ED. You already did your EDC, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, normally I got my Glock 19. Usually that's my real gun for everyday carry. But I have been carrying the 365 in the pocket, and it's an easy hide.
Army Corps in your day,
Yeah.
Army Air Corps. In my day, what are you like 8 months, 9 months younger than me? Or is he talking about you, Doug?
He's probably talking about me. He told me, he said, "You're an Air Force man."
He was an Air Force man.
Yep, he was.
All right, where we at on this day in history? No,
Hey,
you got a review.
we got an iTunes review, 5 stars by
Wow.
Lego Chew on May 12th. He said, "Just want to drop a review for you guys. I've been listening to the show for several years now and love it. You guys are a great pair hosting the show. Love the scripture, reviews, and chats. Keep up the good work and look forward to listening for years to come." Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Cool deal. I got a feedback on Truth Social, uh, Trump's thing. Guy said, "Been listening to y'all's show for 7 years. You guys are a part of my inspirations to start a blog,
Oh,
and
nice.
his blog is the 2A Calvinist. If you have a Truth Social uh, membership or whatever you want to call it,
I do have
profile."
one.
So to a Calvinist is his, and gave us that review or that feedback. Appreciated that. On this day in history, we got,
O- On this day in history, 1937, the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco opened.
and people been flinging themselves off of it ever since.
Yep.
Yep,
Not a whole
it's
not a whole lot happened on this day in history.
did for me today. I've been running wide open all morning. Let's see. I know y'all tired of hearing it. Shut up, Troy. Make it happy. Make it happy. I was looking for my Bible verse, and for whatever reason, it's not doing it. Oh, there you go. Come on. Come on. You can do it. I just had it here. The verse I need today. What? Peace said to them, peace. Jesus said to them, again, peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, even so I am sending you. And it comes from John 20, verse 21. So, just as God had sent Jesus, Jesus is sending us to be his image bearers on this earth. And we are to be light and peace and joy, but we speak it in love and we speak truth in love. Sometimes truth hurts, but
Yep.
it does that. So we had a really horrible event happen.
We did.
Well, we've had several horrible events happen. Strange how that works. Right? Someone's poll numbers are in the toilet and their candidates are losing. All of a sudden, the narrative needs to change, and look what happens. People start shooting people all over the place, and the basement dummy comes out and gives a speech. No, I'm just sort of callous to it anymore, and I don't need to be. I've been lied to so much. I don't know who to trust anymore with the media. I don't know what's real and what's not real anymore with our media because
Nobody.
they're
We
not
don't trust none of them.
they're not reporting facts. They're reporting opinion, and they're have a narrative that they coordinate with people who are on one side of the political spectrum. Um, and so I've heard enough over the years, and I see how the coincidences are really, really, really off about whenever something needs to change, all of a sudden we have a crisis. And I've told you guys recently, I was like, red flags because this guy's going down in flames. He's going to have to wag the dog, right? Remember Bill Clinton blew up an aspirin factory over in, where was that at? Afghanistan? Iraq? Iran? Somewhere?
Hmm.
Because his poll numbers were tanking. And so, oh, look, war. And so he blew up, and he didn't go to prison for war crimes. Uh, there wasn't a declared war. He just all of a sudden nuked a aspirin factory. And yo, America. And so, if you guys remember Wag the Dog, that talked about how uh, things have to happen to take the narrative and change it, um, like COVID. COVID was going strong 2 years. That's the longest pandemic I've ever seen. But and all of a sudden something happened, and COVID wasn't there no more. We were talking about something else, and then Hunter Biden's laptop and his poll numbers was in the tank, and the war in Ukraine was not really selling well. So hey, let's all of a sudden people start shooting people. That's just sort of weird. Don't you think that's weird?
I think it's extremely weird. And what's even weirder is that well, you tell me how an 18-year-old that works at Wendy's has the resources to go buy two AR-15s, the ammo, body armor. um, the whole 9 yards, and he just happens to go to that school, and the one first door he checks is the one that's unlocked.
Now, not only was it unlocked, it was propped open by a teacher. And the school resource officer just happened not to be at his post.
Right,
And
but the media.
they stopped going in because, that's that's wait, no, that's not the protocol. The protocol is to go in straight away and then interact and try to take the guy down because they learned, supposedly, for the last 15 times it happened, that the fastest way to stop this thing is to go in there right away and stop it. So they only wait an
Hour later.
hour later. Now it has all the earmarkings of the same stuff we saw at Sandy Hook, same thing down there in Florida, and they want to blame the gun or the freedom that we have to have guns. That's it. It's not the fact that we're propping open schools and there's no resource officer on hand and a kid that has claimed to want to do crazy things and stuff before isn't taken seriously. It's always my gun that's in my safe is threatening somebody.
Well, what I thought was kind of ironic. Sleepy Joe gets on TV, 5 minutes, or he gets on that evening to do his little spiel on his dog and pony show. And it started out like it was going to be decent. I was like, okay, maybe he's going to do the right thing here and just, talk about these families. Nah. We went straight to gun control. And I think it's ironic that somebody that wants to, when there's a shooting or something that happens in a school, all children's lives matter, which don't get me wrong, they
They do.
do.
Yeah.
They do. They do, absolutely do. And that was horrific what happened down there. But they get on and want to turn that into, um, let's take the guns away because the guns are bad because, a, if we can save one child's life by taking everybody's guns, we got to do it.
Hmm.
But they got no problem aborting babies all the way up to, you
Birth
know, birth. Yep.
or even afterbirth. Who was it? It was old blackface governor
Northam.
from Northern
Northam.
Northrum.
Yeah.
KKK wearing Northrum would say, okay, we baby be born and we'll just think about it for a couple of days, decide if the mama still wants it, and then we'll make a decision at that point. No,
Exactly.
God made a decision when that baby was created. He's gonna breathe life into it. Anything that you do to stop it is called murder.
Biden was on there talking about the NRA, how the NRA got into it, but they were talking about the NRA and all this stuff, and the money that goes to the NRA. The federal government doesn't give any money to the NRA whatsoever.
Mm.
However, they do give millions of dollars every year to Planned Parenthood to kill kids.
Yep.
So,
Not just in America, they give money to abortion places around the world.
oh yeah,
The and if you want to factor in what Bill Gates does to women of Sudan, speaking of Sudan, or Africa or India, so the sterilization that programs that the UN's involved in over there.
hmm
Um, there's a whole lot of murder going on around the world at our tax dollars by eugenicists. Um, so, just a little sidestep to this. I kept hearing we can't keep up. I can't have a democracy with people going and killing each other. Well, I've had enough of this democracy garbage. America is not a democracy. And
correct.
so if you like slavery, you would be a democracy proponent. If you like your freedom, you would be a Republican opponent. Not that the Republicans currently in office right now are shining examples of that, because about two-thirds of those guys are corrupt. But the ones who understand the Republican form of government, So I'm going to get up on my teacher box right now. So the big divide in America right now is the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, which it's not Democratic, it's Democrat. But so Democrats want democracy. Democracy is majority rules. Whatever the majority wants, they get, and your rights are non existent. You only have the rights that the majority, or those that claim to be the majority and have access to reprogramming voting machines or stuffing as many ballots in the box as they can unopposed,
Hmm.
can gather. So that's democracy. Democracy says majority rules. So if the majority says, hey, we like your house, we like your business, we want that, we vote to take that and we all absorb it. So you don't really own anything. You don't have rights. You don't have property rights. You don't have the right to speech, as we've seen. You don't have the right to keep your guns, as we've seen. Democrats proposing democracy, and they always say, our democracy is this or our democracy is that. We're a republic. We're a representative republic. That means that whatever that the Congress does has to be filtered by the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And so the Bill of Rights is this filter. And so anything that takes away from the rights given to us through the Constitution is null and void. So the democratic process in the House of Representatives and then the Senate and then signed by the president, those bills to make those things happen where they write themselves money or they decide to take your property has to go through. Does it filter out and say, this is not taking someone's freedom of speech? This is not taking someone's freedom of religion. This is not taking away someone's right to protect themselves with the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment protects the people from the government. It's not about hunting. It's
No,
not. It's not about uh, controlling mice. It's not about shooting ducks. It's about protecting we the people. That's part of the Constitution. We the people, part of the Constitution.
we are.
The states, the states that you live in, they have a play, and then the federal government. The federal government is limited by the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Obama calls it a negative Bill of Rights because he wants to do away with all that stuff so he can tell you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. But our founding fathers understood that if you don't have the right to property, that you actually have the right to own something. Those things are secure that in your house. Well, we can see recently that the FBI just comes in, knocks your doors down, steals all your stuff, and takes it off, and then uses it against you. Uh, that's not the way the Constitution was written. We have the right to not be molested and attacked and all that stuff. They can't come in and try to find a crime. They have to have the evidence of a crime before they can get a search warrant. Well, they got that backwards now. Now they come in, take all your stuff, sort through it, try to find some criminal activity, and then charge you with that. Or get you to come in and have you talk to them and have you say things and try to trip you up and trap you. And so the FBI is notorious for that. So the federal government really has no authority outside of Washington, D.C., and the territories that the federal government presides over. So your states are supposed to be in control of the laws of the state. And so that's why we, as citizens of our state, aren't supposed to be paying federal taxes, federal income taxes, because taxes were limited to commerce. But back in 19, well, I could preach all day long. I could talk about government from now on. But just as a side, when they talk about we're going to take away your rights, well, if they can take them away, they aren't a right.
Right.
Heller said that they're an inalienable right that was given to us through the Constitution. And the only way that they can be done away with is to do away with the Constitution, which is what they're trying to do. They're trying to overthrow the government through making it fail. That's why you have Democrats voting just throw 40 billion here and 20 billion there and 40 trillion here and million trillion this and that, because they want to overburden the system so it collapses. Once it collapses, the great reset, baby, we can do away with the Constitution because we're in a crisis. And you notice all of a sudden we rule everything by crisis. We lost our right to go to church because of COVID. Not
They
that
did a
there's,
test run.
yeah, we lost our right. And now they got monkey mox coming, monkey pox, which
John
is a rash. Nobody's
John
died of it. Nobody's ever died of it.
John
Uh,
called it donkey pox a while ago.
donkey pox, yeah, it's donkey pox, all right. But so what do? They have a crisis, right? So every time that they want to try to push for gun control, all of a sudden, boom, we got people getting shot left and right. And it's always somebody that's usually already on some kind of psychotic medicine under somebody's watch that people have already heard about and have been called about. And there's always unique circumstances by which the police don't get there for a long period of time, or protocols weren't followed, or and the guy has body armor. So let me tell you, I'm 55 years old. I couldn't afford body armor until about 3 years ago, and I couldn't afford a lot of rifles that I have now until about 10, 15 years ago. And I worked two jobs most of my life. So I don't know how this kid's buying that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's sort of strange stuff, you know. And the kid looks like, I don't know. Looks like maybe something ain't right there. But I
So
don't.
one right, I even heard today that his grandmother, after he shot her, was able to call 911 and tell him that he was on the way to the school. Nothing.
So as usual, if y'all have ever really looked into Sandy Hook, I don't think a lot of people that are in public office right now would be in public office, because I think the outcry would be so amazingly uh, outrageous. I think someday we'll find out what really happened. I hate to making kind of proclamations about this, but it has all the smell of those other things that we've dealt with before. Dug about over the years, it's the same thing. Okay, so we're going to make a law to stop somebody from doing something. Well, there's already a law to stop
Hmm.
people from going in and shooting children in a school. We're going to take away the guns. Well, there are what, 480 million guns at least that are probably operable in the United States.
Right.
How, pray tell, will you do that? So, say you got every single gun off of the streets and out of people's homes. What prevents this kid from grabbing 5 gallon can of gasoline and pouring it in the room and throwing it on fire? What prevents him from making some kind of a bomb? What prevents him from running there with a samurai sword and laying waste? There's nothing that can stop an evil person from doing the evil.
Mm-mm.
You just have to be ready to respond to it and realize that the defense of you and those in your charge are up to you. All right. If you're a school teacher and you've got 30 little kids in your classroom, you're their protector. You follow the protocols so that somebody can't just walk in with a gun. That doesn't keep them from standing outside the yard shooting through the windows, but you'd have a fighting chance to get down on the ground lower and things like that to defend them. But you follow the protocols, right? If you're going to be that uh, protector, or you have a resource officer that's where he's supposed to be at. Because when they took away the guns in Europe, what happened? People start getting stabbed,
Knifed,
run over by trucks, blown
heads
up,
chopped off.
machetes attacking people in the streets of Britain. You can't stop evil people with laws, and you can't stop evil people by disarming good people. It never has worked anywhere, ever. It's just like all of Democrat policies. They don't work. They haven't worked. 80 years of this garbage. It's bankrupt America. It is asinine. I'm sorry. It's the most stupid, unintelligent decisions made. Getting something from nothing, paying people to not work. I mean, all of it is designed to fail. And people that believe in fairy tales and that all people are inherently good fall for it
Yep.
because they're either naive or God didn't grace them with enough brain cells to realize that people are evil. They do evil things. And apart from God saving us and turning our hearts, we would be the same. And so you can't you can't legislate morality. We know that.
You can't.
You can't control immoral people. They're going to do what they're going to do. The only thing you can do is empower the weak, being women and children and people of weaker structures, older, more fragile people, to be able to defend themselves against thugs, right? So you disarm Granny of her like her H&R 32 revolver. Oh, well now the four boys down the corner that are looking for some liquor money go ask Grandma for money. Well, she can't stop them from coming to the house. They just come in and take what they want. If she tries to resist them, they just beat her up. So that's your democracy in action.
Hmm.
You got more people against this individual person. So that's why I'm coming back to democracy against a republic. In a republic, there are laws that protect the rights of the minority, the individual rights. That's why individual rights in the Bill of Rights are important, because should the political winds swing in the other direction, should you be a liberal, you wouldn't want a bunch of Republicans voting and say, hey, all liberals need to pay us a tax for being stupid. Now, although that should be a thing, but
Right.
democracy can do that to you. Democracy makes you a slave of the majority. You have no rights, you have no freedoms, you have nothing that the majority doesn't say. And as we know, and as we've seen in the last election, that majority doesn't have to be real people. It could just be code or people that take 180 different ballots a night to the box and get paid for it. It could be that. So you don't really have freedoms in a democracy. You have your freedoms in a republic where they are guaranteed by the Constitution. And so Second Amendment protects all the others. We the people hold our rights for the Second Amendment to defend against a corrupt, evil government who tries to enslave us through edict or democracy uh, or crisis. Uh, all these judges that let crisis take away our rights should be kicked out of office and never hold any other office. All of these governors who use the crisis to take away our rights to go to church based upon their desire, not based upon science, because there was no science applied to the whole COVID epidemic.
Mm.
We'll probably get bumped off the air for it, but there wasn't. I studied epidemiology. You don't do the things that you do that they did and call it science, because that's not science. That's political science, right? That you create ways to be able to control the movement of people and be able to take away their ways to earn their income, to take away their children's ability to study, to get them used to being masked, uh, to losing their identity, to losing their relationships. That's all but design, people. Had nothing to do with the virus. I could have died for the virus, and I would still told you in heaven when I saw you, I wouldn't believe in a word of it. Because it was all, and it still is, I went to the doctor's office today. You gotta wear a mask. I'm like, I'm not wearing a mask. You gotta wear a mask. It's like I already had COVID twice. It didn't kill me. I said, I'm not sick. I'm coming here to get my foot looked at. I'm not coughing. I don't need a mask. Well, we have to make you wear a mask because it's a state rule. Like, what's a stupid one? She go, we know,
And
but we can't get, we can't get Adolf Andy to take the, take the mask mandate off. Nobody's worn a mask in Kentucky for almost a year and a half. I mean, other than the democracy people, because they're showing solidarity with slavery. But other than
right,
that, or they're scared out of their minds because they've propaganding them so much that they walk around afraid they're going to die every time someone sneezes. Oh, I'm sorry. I got my box. Go ahead, Doug. Clean this mess up for me.
I, I can't clean that one up, buddy, because
It's too big a mess.
it's too big. I'm just like you. I think that half the crap you see on TV is they feed you nonsense. You don't know what to believe, what not to believe.
Mm,
I just choose not to believe any of it until they prove me wrong.
yeah.
And you know, they started out talking about that school shooting the other day, that the school resource officer engaged that kid, got into a gun battle with him. Couldn't find out he wasn't even there.
Yep.
That never happened.
He drove right by him. Never saw him.
Hmm.
Supposedly, but he was shooting into the school. I don't know. It's just like down at what was it? The one down in Florida. It's just like that's. It just doesn't make no sense. The kid was head to toe in body armor, and he's at the courtroom, and he doesn't have a scratch on him. He's out of his mind, eyeball looking crazy, kind of thing. But he wore all black and all black outfit and had body armor and went through the school just shooting up people. Uh, it makes no sense at all. Any of that stuff. I know there's some kids out there that are twisted and warped and been abused and stuff and have gone and done some horrible things. But to get the resources that these kids supposedly had, the planning, the organization, the luck of not finding any cops brave enough to go in and take him on for long periods of time. Uh, Kid walks out with all the other kids and then gets picked up later. Now we're talking about Florida again. Parkland. It was Parkland.
Parkland,
That
yep.
just doesn't. I mean, it reminds me of Lee Harvey Oswald being at the theater and getting picked up. Uh, like what? Just weird, you know. It's like feels like Patsy's to me. I don't know. And he may be the most evil kid ever walks the planet, and somehow had all kinds of resources to buy these things. Did he live with his grandmother? Is that what I understand?
Yes. Well, that's
He
what they're
had no
saying.
father.
No, he's got a father.
He didn't have a father present kind of thing, or
Well, I think he's been in jail for quite a bit, and because we were talking about it at work today, and they said they saw his somebody, one of the guys said they watched the interview his dad did, and he's a convicted felon. Apparently, can't even have guns, so he didn't get them from dad. But that's just, that's just like
well,
that.
no, he could have gotten from dad. They just wouldn't have been legally
Well, well, true,
purchased. Dad
true.
could have acquired them like most criminals do, steal them. So,
That's true. But that 18-year-old that shot up Buffalo the other day, they said he targeted that specific store 200 miles away from where he lived just so he could go there and shoot that one up. Now, 18 years old, do you believe that? I don't believe that for
uh,
a single second.
yeah, I understand. That's cool. Brianna or Brianna? Heather was put down here that she graduated kindergarten yesterday.
Oh, nice.
She's growing up quick.
Even Mark?
Got a bunch of people over here. I'm sorry, I got my little soapbox there, and I sort of Forgot where I was at. I haven't been putting up the show. Laugh.
I'm like you
Chris
though.
is.
I get so irritated at it that I can't hardly even watch. And you got all they want to do is show that stupid Whoopi Goldberg talking about they need to take away all the rifles right now. Now she said, now according to her, she said you could keep your shotgun though for hunting.
Because that's constitutional right there.
Yeah. Well, that's we had voting um, on Tuesday here in the state of Georgia, and Trump was back in David Perdue, which I do not like, and I'm like, there's no way I'm voting for him, and I want to voting for Kemp because Stacey Abrams is going to run, and she's the one that said she believes in gun rights. They bought her granddaddy a shotgun for his
Uh,
birthday one year so he could shoot squirrels.
yeah,
hmm
'cause
I
that's
like
what
to
it's
shoot.
about.
I like to shoot them with an AR-15.
Yeah,
I just call them hogs.
yeah. Brian, I am of the same.
I was just
I,
yes.
I, I don't. It This is too much coincidence. Too much. You start seeing them start suffering in the polls about something, and all of a sudden they switch to gun control, and all of a sudden people start. It's just too much coincidence, and it's always some kid that doesn't have the faculties to do any of the things he did. I mean, where did this kid get his training? I mean, maybe I don't think so. I've got a kid that plays those role playing games, gun stuff on. There's no correlation between clicking thumbs and stuff and shooting real guns. I mean, you gotta go out and actually shoot them and know how to clear them, and it's just not that. It doesn't make sense. And
I
the,
just
the
want to know
kid
how
can
he.
afford that much ammunition to even practice right now in the last year or two. I don't know. Maybe I'm naive about how much money. I just never had that kind of money.
I
Um,
saw that he had two Daniel defenses, but I don't know how true that is. But if that's what he did have, I don't even have a Daniel defense. I can't afford to spend that much money on one rifle,
you know,
or I don't want to spend that much money on one rifle. When he goes and buys two, come on.
I don't know. I don't. You know, lots of just really weird stuff. But I can tell you that I've seen over and over again, especially with the FBI, they create crises to solve and make themselves look good. What
For other problems.
we saw that kidnapping case of the governor. What was it, Governor Whitmer? They were saying that there's
Yeah,
him like 3/4 of the people that were supposed to be kidnapping her were FBI agents. Uh, so it's pretty much a setup. Not that I'm supporting the idiotic people that were framed in that, because that would be not the way we do things. But just the fact that they were set up for political purposes to try to make it out like there was some kind of militia that is going to go out and kidnap governors. That makes no sense in any. That's just like when I heard those guys in D.C. hollering, "Let's go take the Capitol." I'm like, "You're an idiot. What are you going to do with it? What 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 good would that serve? That doesn't serve anything. That's not what the whole speech was about. That's not what any of the speeches were about." So I knew these guys were some kind of antagonist, or some kind of people trying to get a false flag going. That's why I told the guys, I was like, "We're getting out of here because these people are getting ready to start some trouble." Uh,
and they did.
yep, it just made me sick to hear the Republicans' uh, response. to that because either they were totally in on it or they're ignorant to think that that was who Trump supporters were. That Trump supporters were people who were going to attack the Capitol because there weren't any armed people arrested that day at Washington.
Yeah,
And the only one that killed somebody was a government official who shot and killed an unarmed woman who never
A
was
Capitol police
never
officer shot somebody.
yeah, that was the
Shot
only armed
what was it
response.
Ashley Babbitt, right? I think was
Yeah.
her name. He shot her, and he's the same cop that had just recently been in trouble because he left his gun in the bathroom in the Capitol.
Yep. Yep. I don't know. It just I don't trust him anymore. Uh, as
Did
old
you
George
ever?
Washington said, it's a government is a necessary evil that you have to have some level of government, but you always should be not trusting of it. Just to paraphrase. First person shooter games growing up and say it turned out to be fine. I'm saying, yeah, I mean, my son has played these first person shooter stuff. Most of the time, it's shooting like alien things. It's not like going around shooting people. And what's that? That
Call of Duty.
no, the ones where they steal cars and stuff and rob
Oh,
stores.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, he don't play that kind of stuff.
No.
Uh, but he plays Call of Duty and other stuff. But most of the time, it's shooting aliens and flying on spaceships and stuff. I don't know what any of that stuff is. But my son can shoot because I've taken him and trained him, and I've taken him to guys that are a lot better than I am to train him how to shoot rifle and shoot pistol and shoot shotgun and do first aid. All of your children need to be trained properly, and if you don't have the skills, then take them to somebody that does because boys and girls they're gonna need it. I'm telling you, my girls can shoot and my sons can shoot. Uh, and I'm telling you, your kids need to be prepared for what the world has waiting for them. Because it is not going to be fun. I'm getting to the age where I don't know how effective I'm going to be, depending on how much longer they carry on with this thing. I prefer it happen while I'm young enough to still engage and be effective. But if they're going to do it, if they're going to try to attack American citizens, then I want to be me in the front line and my kids behind me. But I think they're just going to slow walk them right into it. You know,
Hmm.
they're being more patient than they're trying to get all of us old people who understand the Constitution and Bill of Rights and how important it is. They try to kill us all off with some kind of disease they've created over there and wherever.
Yeah, wherever it came from.
Yeah, Ukraine or China or North Carolina, wherever it came from. Well, we're gonna need to wrap this puppy up. We're going long, and people getting sleepy eyed, and I'm liable to just fall back and start snoring here in a second.
Oh, they're jumping right on board with us tonight, man.
I know, man. It's sad that, but I mean, it's the history of it is history. Governments rise and fall, and they tend to turn in on their own people at some point when they figure it out. When the people figure out what's going on, uh, they tend to turn on their own people. And but my prayer is that God will reveal and open people's eyes, and that the evil would repent and turn from their wicked ways, and that we all live nice lives. But that's not what the Bible says is going to happen. That's not what history shows that happens. It shows that you have to be ready to repel an evil force at all times, and peace comes through power and does not come through weakness or capitulation or laying your guard down.
Hmm.
You have to be prepared to defend. What you're not willing to defend, they're going to take. And so the battles every day, best to do it with a pen and a phone call first. Hopefully they'll listen. I noticed that State Farm had one of my friends, actually associate, one of the pastor friend of mine also sells real estate, sells insurance through State Farm, and they got caught supporting some kind of homosexual slash I don't know, one of those perverted programs that they're trying to teach your kids about sex in kindergarten or something. They got caught supporting that stuff and got outed, and within 48 hours they withdrawn all their support from that activity because people found out what they were doing. So anytime you find out when an organization, a corporation is doing something evil, supporting abortion, supporting like Disney was pedophilia and homosexuality and pushing down children, withdraw your money from them and let them know what you think about that. Same thing with any kind of politician that does something that's outright to try to take your rights away. You got to be politically involved. As much as I hate politics, as much as it makes me sick to my stomach, uh, you realize that it's two mobs and they all have the same agenda. They want to take your freedom, put you into slavery, and tell you what to do, pay themselves a high salary. And so one side says they're going to take this from you, and the other side they take that from you. They're all the same gang. They just have different faces. So don't believe them. Don't trust them. Call them out. Call them. Tell them you're going to support their opponent every time they do something stupid, and let all your friends and family know about it. That's better than fighting in the streets any day of the week. Because if it gets to that, boys and girls, it's going to be a nasty, nasty, horrible time, and we don't want that. We want peace, love, and puppies. You know, we don't want
Puppies.
we don't want to be hard men, and we don't want to face those things. But if we don't, they will take advantage of that. All right, patches and stickers. You can help with the show buying patches and stickers. We've got a few of those left. Remember, Primary Arms supports our show. If you end up buying anything from Primary Arms, thank them for supporting our show. We appreciate that. We also have a Subscribe Star account. If you guys like to just send us a donation, it's called email. The URL is subscribestar.com/god dash and dash guns. You got the next two, then we got the Armed Citizen of the Week.
Hey, PowerTac lights. You've heard us talk about it. If you want a good light for a weapon, pocket light, or a light for hunting, go check our buddies out at PowerTac.com. Use our promo code God and Guns, and they'll give you 40% off for just listening to the show. Can't beat
Woo.
that. Also, Crossbreed holsters, which I got to get a hold of Nathan to see if I can't get me a holster for this little 365. But pretty much whatever you're carrying, Crossbreed makes a holster for however you want to carry it. Appendix carry. They got belly bands, bedside backup, you name it. Crossbreed makes it. So go check our buddies out at crossbreedholsters.com. Use the promo code GNG and they'll give you 10% off for just listening to the show. So go check them out.
Cool deal.
Armed Citizen this week comes to us from Houston, Texas. Y'all have to excuse my coughing, man. I was mowing and weed eating before I came in to do the show. um, a homeowner in Houston, Texas, defended himself when an intruder allegedly broke into the residence on March 3rd, 2022. He was asleep on the second floor of his home that early Thursday morning when the sound of glass breaking at 1 a.m. awoke him. An intruder made his way inside the home and eventually came to the stairs to the second floor. When the intruder began to make his way up the stairs, he was confronted by the homeowner who had armed himself. Upon encountering the intruder in the stairway, the homeowner fired a single shot. The round struck the intruder in the neck and spurred him to flee the residence. The wounded would be burglar then went to the neighboring homes, knocking on doors to let the residents know he was shot. When authorities arrived a short time later, the intruder was discovered a few houses away, deceased. Other neighbors claimed that they had witnessed the intruder scoping out other homes before the incident, and the homeowner did not face charges for his use of a firearm in self defense. And that comes to us from KHOU.com, Houston, Texas.
Cool deal. Chris
That's
has
the only way to protect yourself, man, is you can't wait on the police. Restraining orders don't work. It's just a piece of paper. Protect yourself.
yep. Uh,
You
you're
can't rely on somebody
responsible.
else to do it.
You're responsible for yourself, your own safety, and for the safety of those who you're responsible for: your children, your elderly parents, your neighbors that aren't capable of taking care of themselves. That's all on you. You don't get that by what in the world is going here? I was going to put a link in here, but can't find it. Uh, you're responsible for your own defense, and the police do not have a responsibility for that. It's the Supreme Court twice has said that the police officer owes no duty to die in the defense of you or your family, or that's up to that's up to them to decide if they want to do that. And there are a lot of brave men in the police force that are willing to do that, and kudos to them. And that's a very high calling. But the fact is that at the end of the day, you are your first line of defense, and you probably your second line of defense.
Hmm.
If you live out where I live at, you're probably your third line of defense, and your neighbor's defense, because I have a scanner that runs. I'm a ham radio operator, so we can have scanners in our car, and I hear calls go out for an hour. Someone's breaking into this house at the so and so address, and like, well, I got two calls in front of it that I got to go take care of. Someone's beating up somebody, and so they might be an hour and a half before they can get there. So you're on your own. I'm just telling you, uh, you can't have a cop there fast enough. When you need one. All right, so we're
That's
gonna wrap this
correct,
thing
Dan.
up.
Dan said you're your own immediate responder.
Yep, and you're your own first medical responder. Get medical training. So if you get into a gun battle or a knife fight or whatever it is, you gotta know how to patch holes in you. Go get some good training. Bulwarks is a school we use here in Kentucky. They come down to Doug's down there in Georgia and have done some classes. They're in Indiana, and they're a Midwest area. Got enough people? You got 6 or 10 people want to take a class? Get a hold of them. They do all kinds of training uh, about anything you need, and they also do personal security. So if you need a security detail team, they've got guys for that, and they'll train you how to be one of those kind of people too if you want to do that. We'll wrap it up. Send your feedback to Troy at guidinggunspodcast.com, or
Doug at GodandGunsPodcast.com.
please tell your friends about us. Leave us an iTunes review. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/. Guide and Guns Podcast. Subscribe and follow us on YouTube. Hit the notification bell. And if you're not liked the platform you're on already, please give us a thumbs up, a heart, a love, or whatever you want to give us. But click that, and we would appreciate it. Share this video, please, wherever you're at, whatever you're on. We would appreciate it. We're on Instagram. You can find us over there. I have a Wimkin page and a Guide and Guns page. We're streaming live on Rumble right now. So if you have a
Rumble.
Rumble account, we are also on MeWe. I use that more for a gun trading platform, and we,
Yeah,
we
me
have
too.
we have some social media stuff over there. We have a website called guidinggunspodcast.com. Till next time, Doug, have a blessed week.
Hey, keep your guns close, but keep your Bibles closer. You guys have a great night, and hope you have a good Memorial Day weekend.
Yep. I've got to go visit some grave sites here over the weekend, put some flowers out. So we will talk to you guys down the road. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Good night, all.
Good night.